Hey there, I'm Stan Baker, one of your hosts for Circle Forum. In this episode, Shelley Steele, Steve Young, and I have our second discussion of an article published in October of 2022 by Dr. Jess Whitley of the University of Ottawa and Dr. Beth Saggers of Queensland University of Technology. It's called School Attendance Problems Are Complex, and Our Solutions Need to Be as Well. So we're not the only ones talking about the importance of building relationships. It's important that this be part of the complexity of the solutions to student absenteeism. With restorative practices, this is actually part of our home turf, stressing positive connections with a trusted, caring adult, intentional relationship building, and the opportunity to ask students who they feel most connected to at school. Now, at the end of this episode, you can visit our website at www.restorative.ca, subscribe to us on YouTube at Circle Forum, and now let's head over to the conversation already in progress with Shelley, Steve, and me, Stan. This is our home turf here, right?
Quote right from the article, students need to feel like they matter to someone at school, someone who notices when they're not there, but also welcomes them when they are.
Simple things, right? Saying good morning at the door. We've talked about this before, just how much difference that can make, knowing kids by name, and that somebody actually notices when you're not there, right? Those are the kinds of things that everybody can.
The next part of the article talks about, and this is what we've always talked about, intentionality. Relationships need to be purposefully fostered. We've always talked about intentionality. You don't just expect it, say it's wonderful and expect it to happen. If you put a bunch of kids in a room, they're all going to learn to get along. We need to be very intentional and purposeful in how we design things. And restorative practice is a very purposeful approach. There's an intentionality of why we do large group circles and the kind of questions we ask and how we go from low to medium to high intensity type questions and so on. There's a real function to helping kids to learn how to have conversations about difficult topics in a supportive way and safety and all that stuff. So I like that. They use the word purposeful. We've always said intentionality. To me, it's synonymous, same thing.
Yeah.
But it has to be purposeful. We have to think about it and do it and plan it as part of our day.
And provide opportunities for that relationship building, whether that's in the classroom or the larger school.
Mhm.
And the article speaks to mentorship, peer buddies, that would be playground programs, any of those ways where students start to have an active role and feel connected to their school and their peers.
And I think that one of the pieces that certainly comes out in the work that we're doing with attending to student absenteeism, the 2x10, is that if we are left to our own devices as adults, we will select students who are most like us and who are doing fairly well. And what ends up happening is there's a whole group of students who really need that connection with us that we may not naturally move towards, that could really benefit from that type of mentorship or that trusted, caring adult connection. And the truth is, we don't connect with everyone automatically. And so, to your point, Steve, we need to be really intentional. Find out which kids are most at risk of being absent and make them students that move to the top of your priority list.
So, as Stan was saying, many of us want to connect with people who are like us or we're most comfortable with. But in my role in child and youth work, it would be often the students that I saw struggling or on the fringes that I would seek out, whether that be in a classroom or in the hallway. So there are those people in your schools that enjoy that kind of connection with students. So if there is a student that you're noticing hasn't made a connection, maybe seek out one of those other helping professions in the school. That could be many different people that could just say good morning to that student or see what's going on with their day. So there are some folks that those are my people. Those are my kids that I love to reach out to.
And I'm going to add further to that whole idea of looking for different people. We've often talked about how building up of a restorative school over years, that if kids are immersed in a restorative approach in grade 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up, how much easier it is for each teacher getting these kids. But also keep in mind that those kids will develop relationships with different teachers over the years. And maybe they get to grade 7 and they've got an okay relationship with their grade 7 teacher, but their grade 5 teacher, one that they really like, and they really had that. And whenever they have an issue, they're going to seek out that teacher. That's okay. We have to realize it doesn't have to be the homeroom teacher that is the go-to person all the time. If a kid has developed a relationship, a solid relationship with a former teacher or a CYW or a support worker or whoever, any adult in the building, or a
Coach,
Yeah.
a custodian, anybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
go. If the kid said, "Look, I'm having a bad day. Can I go talk to Miss So-and-so?" Absolutely. No, to say, "No, you can't because they're not your teacher anymore. I'm your teacher. You have to talk to me." What a terrible thing. And yet I know there are people that somehow believe that. I'm your homeroom teacher this year. You should be coming to me first. No, doesn't matter who they go to. Just go to somebody. So
Well-
we have to also release that mindset. Kids have to be only attached to one person, one adult, and that's the one who's in front of their face every day. They
And-
could be any adult.
Yeah. And once they graduate from my class or move on, then they're no longer my concern.
That's right. And
Right.
that whole
Not true either.
concept that these aren't my kids, they're all our
My
kids.
kids are
Exactly.
our kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting too in this, just to carry the thought a little bit further, is if you're not sure about the connections and those kids that are on the margins, just ask them. So who are you? Who is somebody that you'd go to with some good news? Which adult? And then once you find that out, to go to that adult and say, "Hey, listen, this student has identified you as the person they would go to. Did you know that?" "Oh yeah, I've always had."
Or
Well,
often they don't, Stan. Often the adults don't know that.
But what it does is it helps us. If somebody goes, "Oh, really? That's me?" Then can you be more and here we get back to it again. Can you be more intentional about seeking this student out? And now I don't have to be the person who's the trusted caring adult, even though they're in my grade 7 class. I don't have to be that person because I know that Shelley is or Steve is for that individual student. And I can focus on 2 or 3 other students that I also know. But asking the kids can really make a difference too. Intuitively, we know that it's important for students to have a connection with a trusted, caring adult. It is, however, a matter of intentional relationship building if we really want to reach out to students at risk of chronic absenteeism. We can miss students who are on the margins and would definitely benefit from a healthy connection with a trusted adult. Want to find out more about how you can be intentional about building that connection with a trusted, caring adult? Drop me an email to stan@restorative.ca. Check out the free resources at www.restorative.ca, and let's add the solution of building relationships intentionally with students to the complexity that we're dealing with student absenteeism.